So have you seen an impact from social media and, TikTok now with AI and filters and this sort of thing? Have you seen any new trends that are developing? People seeking augmentations more readily? What are the trends that you're sort of seeing in your
Yeah,
practice?
there's definitely with Gen Z, they're talking about it more. They're more open about getting these procedures done. Like they'll get a procedure and then they'll like put it up on, TikTok. So that sometimes will drive people to do more
Mhm.
procedures, right? Because then they're like, oh, well, my favorite influencer had it done, so I might get that too. And that, as much as I like to discuss openness on the channel, we've definitely raised this concern more recently, which is that it's good to be open and honest, I think, about stuff, especially if you're an influencer, to let people know that, hey, this maybe is attainable. I'm not just like born genetically perfect. I had, work done. And so that, I think is overall a good thing. But I think as more and more people go out there and actually share their experiences, you definitely run the risk of the pendulum swinging in the opposite direction, where it's now just everyone feels the pressure to get work done, right? So that's not great. So yeah, I mean, but that's been a trend for sure. Just people being more open and willing to share their journey with their procedures. Other trends, I mean, there are surely like always like procedural trends. Like for a while, buccal fat removal in recent times was becoming very popular with a lot of celebrities getting it done, where basically cheek fat from the inside of the mouth is removed, and it helped people look like skinnier in the mid face. But it has a lot of issues, and we have lots of videos that basically just caution people and really point them a little bit away from that surgery. It's not my favorite. But again, there are some people who might be good candidates, but it's usually not like a young person. It's like maybe an older person where there's been like some herniation or pseudo herniation of that fat, that if you're already doing a facelift, sometimes from the inside, you can approach that buccal fat, remove it. But that's like a very specific case, use case. It's not like most people, right? So, but you have a lot more celebrities getting that done. And then they might look okay now, even though some of them already look overdone. But like, how is that? How are they going to age? They're young, they're like 20s, 30s. How is it going to look in 30 years? People don't often think about that. Or facelifts are starting to be offered to younger and younger people, and they're getting it done sometimes in their 20s. A facelift. I mean, back in the day, like maybe 10 years ago, like no one did that so young.
Would you ever do that for if a patient came in asking for that sort of a procedure?
No, and to be honest with you, that's another reason. I had many reasons for walking away from certain types of surgeries, but that was one of the reasons why I was more okay with walking away from facelift surgery, because I had many young people coming to me, like people who might want a lip lift, but then like they're like, "Oh, and they also want a facelift." And I'm like, "Dude, this is a bigger surgery. This is a lot more potential risks, and we're gonna cause some scar tissue on the inside that, if you get there's a couple of issues. One is the risk that a young person then takes on, when they're like maybe at their prime for whatever they're doing. It's a setback to recover from a big surgery. Two is like if they start so young with a surgery that's an aging face surgery, like classic, like
Mm.
aging face, meaning that the face will continue to sag as we age, they're going to be getting more and more of these surgeries done. With each surgery, there's in a way more and more risk, because when you're doing surgery on a revision case, there's a lot more scar tissue in the way. So your risk for hurting nerves is higher. Your risk for hurting the skin, the surface of the is higher. And you're putting people through that risk over and over and over again because they're starting young. And I've seen patients come in for other things now, for me, and they've gone to a surgeon for a facelift at like, 28. By the time they're 30, they want another one, because you can imagine at 28 they didn't really need it. At 30 they still don't need it, but yeah, sure, they're starting to notice that, hey, there's like some minuscule amount of drop, of course, because they're aging. But it's like, are we supposed to be getting facelifts every 2 years? I mean, it's just that's an extreme thing that I think carries too much risk to have it make sense. So yeah, so I don't know, I guess maybe I have like more of these ethical like boundaries than some people, but I just I just wouldn't do something to someone that I wouldn't recommend to like a family member, you know.